time. Welcome to the Outcast Saving Podcast. Sorry. Hanging out with way too many Aussies over this weekend. We're going to discuss all the fun we had at the Pro Tour and what's coming up for the next big event this week on Outcast Saving Podcast. Yeah, see, that's what happens when you hang out with Paul, the tallest of the tall Timmies. And he is tall, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Timmy is tall.
He looks tall. I never, it's like hard to judge it without knowing someone's height. Like that's always the thing, right? Is like you see pictures of somebody and in your head, you're like, I think I know how tall they are. The problem is if you don't know someone in the picture, you can't actually judge the height of anybody. It's totally just a guess. So
you see Jason in the picture and you're like, oh, fuck, that guy's tall.
Yeah, it's like all I saw was his nose and down.
Nick Butcher. I meet good old Nick. The first thing he says to me, I thought you were taller. I'm like, oh, I could disappoint you, Nick.
Yeah, I thought you'd be bigger. You heard that one plenty too. That's all good.
So last week, when I was at the hotel, I told you about riding in the elevator with Rudy, James White, and the Hung Saint. But prior to that, we had our banquet. And I talk about like my first meeting with Harry.
No, we have not asked. We've saved this all for this cast.
Yeah.
So like hit us with the goodness.
I will say, because I've known Harry for almost 2 years, and all of us collectively knew him very shortly after I first met him because we started our big group chat. It was a full man hug. I mean, it was full embrace, overseas hug. And the coolest thing was that during the whole event, we used to always message them how we were doing. But to actually just go up to Harry and be like, during the Pro Tour, I could go up to Harry after his events and be like, Harry, how are you doing? And it was so crazy. It's just so crazy to bring all the people from the world together for that. And then at that same event, they had free food, free drinks, hors d'oeuvres everywhere. I got to meet Ian and Alan from Reflex Radio. Obviously, Alan works for LSS. Ian found a fun fact, just because, as having a kid that plays lacrosse, I find out he used to be a lacrosse goalie. Ian used to be a lacrosse goalie.
That's
wild.
It's
a fun fact. If you like
That's
that
awesome.
sport, for New Zealand. I'm like, who plays lacrosse in New Zealand? It's like 12 guys. He's one of them. That's crazy. So I'm just going to start with my favorite story of the week. And if you were at the Pro Tour, you probably heard this story because I told just about anybody I could immediately after this happened. Immediately. So I'm watching Rudy and the Hung Saint and a bunch of other content creators are just surrounded as they're cracking alpha packs. And James White is sitting down, he'd crack one, and then somebody from the audience would crack one. Like I recorded Tall Timmy opening his, and that's on our channel. So as it's kind of clearing out and they're getting a line ready to go, I go up to Mr. James White to send my appreciation. I basically just wanted to say thank you for the support. That's all I want. You know what I mean? Just because never met him, but I just want to thank him because he's helped us a lot. They've sent us stuff, letters, all that kind of stuff. And to I don't even know how to express in words. He goes, Jason. And I was like, holy shit, James White knows my name. That is the craziest thing that has ever happened. And so I rip off my mask. I'm like, fuck you, mask. And I rip it off because I got a big smile and everybody's going to see I have a big smile on my face. And fuck that mask. It's coming off right now. James White ain't wearing a mask. I ain't wearing a mask either. So, like, this is amazing, and so I got this huge smile on my face and he's like, you have Akitas. So that's the first thing he brought up is dogs because James White also has Akitas. So just the fact that this company, the size, its growth and gone, and us as a very early adopter to content in the US, that he knew us, like remembered, knew my name. Like I would never expect that. In 100 years, I would never expect that to happen. And then the controversy came. So I go, he goes, yeah, you're my wife's favorite, which was a big disappointment to Blake and Dane. But I don't think he was saying I personally was his favorite. I took it as the Outcast Havens was her favorite. It could have been me. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
We've all accepted long ago that you're the ladies' man. That's fine. That's fine.
So, so then I'm like, can I grab a quick picture? So I do a selfie. He's like, well, I need to get my picture with you. I'm like, what? Like, that's what's in my head. And hands his phone off to get a picture with me. And I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened? And that pretty much made my day in my week. And I was like, that was, because if you guys were there, it sucked that you weren't there to experience that with me, because it was truly, he knew all of us. Obviously, I wasn't one there, so I got to hear him say my name, which I know it sounds...
That's cool. That's super cool.
To me, it was a big deal. It was a big deal to me. So that was one of my favorite stories. But I got 3 more really favorite things that happened, and there's tons of stuff.
Can we pause? I just want to get
ask any questions. Any 3?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a drink quick, because this is super enjoyable, and I just want to have like a little sippy. Can we? Yeah. Okay. All right. We're all going. Perfect. And cut back to having drinks.
So, the first day, actually, for a majority of the whole 2 days, Andrew Rothamel, our local Minnesotan, was in first place or near first place.
He was fucking crushing it, dude.
Yeah,
repping.
Right. He ended up 10th, which it sucked. He missed the top 8, but he had an amazing run. It was awesome. So here's what I did. This is my little thing that I thought was hilarious. So if he just sat down at the table and had not started playing, they were just kind of BSing and shuffling. I think I got this 3 or 4 times in day 2. I'd go up, I'm like, Andrew, did you tell whoever's opponent? So I'd be pointing at the opponent. I'm like, did you tell him that you are the reigning Star Wars Destiny World Champion? And Andrew would get the mortified look. And I literally did it to almost any opponent that I could while I wasn't playing my games in the calling. As long as they hadn't started playing the game, because then it would be rude, and I'm not going to talk while they're playing the game. Yeah. But if they're just shuffling and doing their BS, you do your banter, pregame banter. Yeah. I would say that. And he would go.
That's so funny. I commented that like 2 or 3 times in the Twitch chat too. I was like, "Did you guys know?" And then I realized I was doing it from the Outcast Haven channel page. So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna stop." But I got 2 or 3 of them in.
Yeah. I mean,
so I love doing that to him.
I think part of what makes it fun with Andrew is he is simultaneously one of the best card game players you'll ever meet, in terms of just his ability to like lock in a tournament and just absolutely get on a roll and be nearly unstoppable. And then right along with that, he's one of the most humble and nice people you've ever met.
Fucking nice. Like, such a good guy.
Yeah.
So, and then we got to meet his wife. Like, meeting wives is very rare in card games, as I found by meeting Sarah for the first time a couple weeks ago. I was harassed by her because it took so long to meet her. So
wait, Blake Sarah?
Yes, Jason had never met my wife.
First time. Oh, that was the first time. She wasn't my ex-boss, Dane. So no, I didn't meet her.
That's fair.
So, we got to meet his wife, and it was the most. And I hope Andrew's listening, because it was probably the greatest introduction I've had. He's like, "This is how did he put it? This is Jason. Yeah, he likes to talk a lot of trash, but he's also a really nice guy, and so it's kind of weird how that works out. Like,
That
it was
is
so good. It was the best introduction I've had. So thank you, Andrew. It was like weird but great. I'm like, that's how I should
Just-
always be introduced.
talks mad shit, but is like a good guy too. That's your Twitter bio now. We're all about Twitter now. We started that, by the way.
Yeah.
We all have Twitters. Look above our faces here, and if you're listening, check out YouTube, and you can see it in our bio or whatever. But we're new there, so hit us up and watch us struggle through that mess.
Mr. Nick Butcher. I mean, he's been on the channel. He's hilarious. He was also a blast in real life. So when he was playing in the Australian and it was on Tall Timmy's channel or I think Paul, he was announcing it. When Nick lost, I posted from the Outcast, because I always post everything from the Outcast. I put Fab School is dead because it's funny. So I seen Nick when he was like 7-1, 7-2, and I'm like, dude, Fab School's on. Fab School's on. Then the next round, he's like, it's fucking over. Fab School's dead. Because he lost. So he played into it.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
The finals are playing, and I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, he comes up right next to me, and we're chatting. And there was another content creator, Fabled something.
Fabled
I
Hunters.
never heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah, that sounds right. So I never heard of him. Like, Nick, who is this? Oh, that's a European content creators. They're not shit like those Outcast Haven guys. They actually put good content out there.
Outcast Haven setting the bar low since 2020.
So I was like, oh, that is amazing. So yeah, so just hanging out, that was fun, hanging out with him. So then my most awkward meeting, because I stalled a little bit. Okay. I was caught off guard. So I was walking in the back, and I never presume anybody, it quite obvious from the James White. I never presume somebody knows who I am. I'm just a guy playing cards, right? Mm-hmm. Well, Hayden's like, Jason, to meet you. And I stalled like for literally a second to say, Hayden, I know who he is. Obviously, I know who Hayden is. Mm-hmm. And he like then says his name. I'm like, I felt like an ass. I'm like, couldn't get it out like a half a second earlier to say his name. I was just caught off guard that he came up to me.
Just starstruck. Hayden, if you're listening, starstruck. It will happen to me too. When we finally meet, Hayden, Brendan, when we meet and you guys come up or I come up to you, I'm gonna be like, oh God, yeah, hi.
You know what it was, right, Jason? It's because Hayden, he's just so handsome. That's the issue. Is he throws you off at a card game tournament.
I mean, him and Tall Timmy. I mean, when he was opening a pack, Rudy goes to Tall Timmy, I will not allow you around my wife. You are one man I would not allow around my wife. So it was So yeah, I mean that's a good call. Mm-hmm. They dress nice. It is funny though. You kind of could tell where in the world people were from by the way they dress. Not that anybody dresses good or bad. It's just different. And I can't explain how it's different. It just is. Like Europeans aren't afraid to show
how tight are their jeans, how loose are their shirts, do they have fanny packs across their chests?
Are they afraid to show nipple? Like not even matter. They just have, a tank on it. They don't even
I feel like actually I was trying to describe like Europeans and I just described Blake.
I think you did just describe me. The fanny pack, the tight jeans. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, it was awesome to meet him. And then he reached out on Twitter again, just say nice meeting. Yeah, so that was super cool just because we had seen him in Orlando, but once again, I don't like just to go up and bother. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't like to presume.
Yeah, and that's the same thing too. Is like we saw them. I feel like we came because we were all in Orlando, like right? Or Blake, were you not there? Yeah, we were all there.
I was.
And like we saw Hayden and Brendan, and like they were always talking about like Zach from Team Covenant and like hanging out and doing stuff.
That was
I always
That was
felt,
pre-battle.
yeah, I always felt like I'm not gonna go up and like pester him. And everyone always says like, oh, like always come up to me, always say hi, like it's always great. There are times where like it's not like the moment, or like you don't want to cut in when they're having a conversation or whatever the fuck it is. So it just like it never really happened. And sorry, but it was nothing personal, but Jason fucking handled it. So
yeah, so talking about cutting in, we'll talk about. So Andrew's talking to Zach from Team Covenant, and I know Zach was at Worlds. No, because I met him, saw him, said hi. Completely cut in. I immediately say to Zach, "Hey, do you know that this is Andrew and he once like did the whole Star Wars?" And Zach goes, "In fact, yes, I did. I went out to dinner with him that night." That was a true plot. Then I told my James White story quickly, condensed,
got to get that in
6 seconds, and then apologized for rudely interrupting and quickly scuttled away to somewhere else to find somebody else to tell the story to. Just random people, didn't even know him. I will say, a lot of people came up to me, but there's people come up to me different than other content creators. I think they think I'm a very aggressive person, like all the time I'm like this, because people come up to me very calm. They're like, hey, Jason, I just want to say, love your podcast.
Sun's getting real low. Sun's getting real low, big guy.
So I always think that's kind of funny. You can have excitement, you know, but Denmark, Germany, Sweden, Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, all those countries have listened to us, which I thought was unbelievable, to be honest with you. It's awesome. So very cool. Very nice to meet tons of people. Everybody's super cool. We had Fresh and Buds podcast. Tommy gave me and Cody this Indian pale ale beer that was so smooth and so amazing. I'm pretty sure I drank too much of it that night, and we almost finished all of whatever they gave us because it was that good. It was amazing. So shout out to you guys. We appreciate it. It was delicious.
I just started to listen to a bunch of their stuff actually. Like I like Fresh and Buds a lot.
And then Logan from Fresh and Pod came up and jammed some games with us Saturday night. And he had a casino build that I kind of want to look at. And so I watched that while I was just throwing together a Briar deck for, you know, I'll be honest, the whole card playing part of this weekend, I was very low practice. I think I had one day of practice into my Kano deck that I played. Went 4-4, didn't even care. I was having so much fun just doing everything and just chatting with everybody and meeting everybody. I would say this is the first big tournament I've gone to where the card part of it was very, very secondary. Because I wasn't the Pro Tour. Yeah, it was 100% secondary. Now, if I was playing the Pro Tour, I would have been practicing a lot more and doing that part of it. But the calling felt secondary as well, just because the Pro Tour was going on, which makes sense. And somebody was like, well, it was like that in Orlando. I'm like, I didn't play in the calling in Orlando, so that's why.
You didn't get the vibe. You were busy at Nationals.
Right. So that part of it, it was.
We'll make Worlds our thing. Worlds will be like where we all go, because like even with the Vegas coming up, I know Jason, you've said that's state. That's like state time for lacrosse, right? Section of the state. Yep. So that'll just be Blake and I here, but.
Yeah, they just barely got beat by the 5th ranked team in the state, 9-8 last night. Amazing game. Mason dominated their face-off. Guy, so
I was just going to ask how he did personally.
Just destroyed them. So I keep that running. Good running theme. But I also talked with. I did my opening the way it was because I talked to the Tall Timmy channel, Mr. Paul, a lot. Over the weekend.
That doesn't surprise me.
Super
actually,
cool
that fits really well. Like actually, if you were to ask me, Jason's going to meet a bunch of new people in this pool of people. Who do you think Jason gets along with? Because I followed Tall Timmy for a while. I know Blake has too.
Yeah,
and I know Jason has too. But like, I'd be like, honestly, like I really hope that like you and Paul click as much as it sounds like you did. So that's fucking perfect.
We clicked. Yeah, no, that was a blast. And obviously clicked with Harry, seeing him just
Aside from like
Very
our
cool.
friends,
Lee,
like our friends.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And then obviously Lee was there too and got to meet his brother as well.
His brother
and then
did well, actually, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Luke.
did. Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't do too bad. And then the worst part was just the fact that Toby, because of unforeseen circumstances, I didn't actually get to meet till Sunday morning at a Starbucks because he did not get to. He had to quarantine up, so that sucked. I didn't get to spend the whole weekend with him, but went and spent half hour, 45 minutes at Starbucks. We had a coffee together.
That's a
him
huge
and his
fucking
partner.
bummer, actually. Toby,
Yeah, because
fucking pour one out for you, buddy. I'm sorry that happened to you. That sucks.
big fan.
Yeah.
Really big fan of Toby. Love talking with Toby. Love the shit him and Mason used to have on the live stream, going back and forth. Was just enjoyable. The fact that he would have that interaction with Mason and just
hearing that Toby was sick. I love you, Harry. Hearing that Toby was sick, I was like, okay, it's okay. I didn't go. It's okay. I didn't. So it's okay.
But yeah, just hanging out with all of them and seeing them throughout the weekend was cool. Obviously, we were well represented with our Minnesota guys. And I don't even want to go to all the names, but me and Cody shacked up, as you could see last week in the podcast. Two old guys with the same cultural references and the same likes of music, 90s rap and some rock, and just that was pretty cool. How it's weird when you're the same age and you understand all the references. I don't have to Google anything to figure out what it means.
Is Cody's your age?
He's just he's like a year or two younger than me. So he's over the 40.
Cody's older than you, Blake?
He is, yeah.
God, I would not have guessed that. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shit.
He's good for his age.
I mean, not
and then I got lucky
not that much older. I did just turn 37. Yeah, I did just turn 37, so I'm not like I'm not that
5 years.
I'm getting there.
Is not that much older.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I got lucky. Thankfully that Adam can never get up on time or set an alarm clock properly, so he ended up flying out on my same flight. So I got a free ride because he rents a car everywhere he goes. So
everywhere he goes,
that was amazing. So thanks, Adam, for the free ride. But we had some good meals. Went out, drank a little bit of hard liquor that last night. Had some huge Long Island iced teas. I partaked in my first credit card game when I saw the bill. I'm like, it's not that horrible. I'll go. And Adam's like, the first time you always lose. I'm like, well, let's get it out of the way. And I lost. So
no,
took that one in the chin. Yeah. So hope everybody enjoyed your meal and drinks. It was a pleasure. Good deal though for four of us with a bunch of drinks. It was like 160, 170 bucks. I thought that was pretty damn. If I'm gonna go on a credit card game,
oh yeah,
that's the one I'm gonna go in because I've heard some of the bills that they've had in the credit card
when
game.
they were playing it in Orlando. Who was it that lost like 3 times? Was it Tickle? No.
Tickle. Tickle never loses. In Vegas, Pat lost 3 times in a row.
That's who it was.
Yeah, because Pat was joking about how he was gonna have to go home and somehow explain to his wife that he didn't gamble and still lost $1,000 in Vegas.
I mean, technically, you are gambling when you play the credit card.
Yes,
that is gambling, Pat. I'm sure that he understands that deep down.
The math seems like maybe worse in the credit card game because if only 3 people put their cards in, like that's a real high failure percentage.
And some people do the first one out, some do the last in. I mean, if we were doing anything but last in, I win, but first out, I'm like, that's not mine. Like we go last, I'm like, that sucks.
You had like a bunch of like little moments though, like this weekend. Like you told me about like your elevator ride.
So that was the elevator ride was with what I kind of discussed last week was with the Hung Saint.
Oh, was that on last
he
week?
mentioned that
last week.
That was
on last week's that happened. Other cool thing is in the lobby. So literally you crossed a road and you were in the convention center. Mm-hmm. So it was the closest you could ever be. So in between rounds of a blitz match, I was able to go up into my room because I had my Kano mat and I was playing Briar. I grabbed my tall Timmy mat, then came back down and still had time. That's how close the room was to the event. The craziest thing though is every night so we were on the 4th floor and it's all open, and you look down, every table was full of people playing cards.
That's wild.
Like it was just nonstop fab. And the reason I didn't talk to the first night, I didn't talk to Rudy or James, is because Rudy was pounding on the window, looking out, pointing at everybody, and going to James, "You did this. This is what you did." And I just hearing that was a really cool thing. Like he did do that. That is what he did.
100%.
All these people playing. I mean,
you had a vision like a decade ago. You had a vision.
Yeah.
And now this is because of your brainchild. That's so fucking crazy when you actually think about that. Like that's actually nuts.
So the other cool thing is I was in sales most of my life, right?
Yep.
And as you guys probably know, I'm a very impatient person. Don't like standing in lines.
Yep.
So they had artist signings there, right? But you'd have to wait in line like an hour because he took his time to sign everything. I didn't have that kind of time. Whether I did or not, I didn't. Just didn't have that kind of time. So I'm like, I wonder if I can buy my way into not standing in line. So he had one big mango canvas. Please pause. For anybody watching, I purchased this huge mango canvas. As you can see, it's signed at the bottom. And I also had a bunch of his cards I wanted signed. But I didn't have the time to wait in line. So I negotiated with his handler and ended up just paying for that, the 2 cards, taping it. I'm like, sign it on your own time. I'll pick it up at the end of the day, and never had to wait in line.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll buy
but
that
nobody
canvas
used that
off
trick
right now. That's awesome.
You what?
So I'll buy that canvas off right now, but then I'm gonna give you these cards. Come back later. Like, yeah, that's smart.
Right. At first I had 5 cards, and he's like, I can't do that. So we got it down to 2 cards. I got 2 cards signed, the canvas and that signed, and I got Slice and Dice full, the extended art signed.
Yep.
And then I got a Oak and Old signed, and then Mr. Chris Dietz, big shout out to Chris Dietz. Usually I'm making fun of him for helmet. Not this time. Not this time, Chris. Or not Chris, Dylan, your brother.
Yeah.
Sorry, either one of you.
Yeah.
You're one and the same. Dylan Dietz, helmet, usually making fun of, was going in line to the guy that did Pulverize, Islander, Kraken. He had the cold foil Islander with him. And so actually I took Cortez's. Then Dylan gave Cortez his, so Cortez could try to sell it while he was there. And then I'm giving mine that I had at home back to Dylan, and Dylan waited in line and got that signed for me. So that was amazing.
Oh, nice.
Very much appreciate that.
Super cool.
The signatures they do are amazing. They do these shadow signatures on the cards. So
like the black and then gold over the top type shit. Yeah.
Yes. I will pay attention to what artists are going there.
Yeah.
Because I'm kicking myself I didn't bring my mango mat with. I am kicking myself I didn't have it with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is he hasn't done an absurd amount of art, I don't think. But the stuff that he's done, Federico Musetti, his stuff has been unreal, because he did Library, he did Mangle, he's the one who did Chain, and then he did the Ursa, right?
Yep.
My screen for anybody watching on YouTube. There's Slice and Dice signature. Here's the Oak and Old. Cool outlined. Oh, I don't have Islander here. And then here was my other. This was gifted. This is such a clean play mat for anybody that can see.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that play mat was awesome.
It's 63 of 70. I was thinking about making it 69 of 70 for the number on the bottom, just because. But the Hung Saint, he said, got the 69 out of 70. Which, if you're a Hung Saint, you should get 69 out of 70.
I don't know. I just looked it up because I want to know. But Alexander Mokov, when I find out he's going to an event, I don't care. I'm going to find someone who's going. I'll be like, sign my Heralds of Air edition. Because that's so fucking cool. I love that they're giving these artists slots, making them making them part of the event. That's super cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
it's a
awesome.
Zoom in.
It's a cool thing to do because a lot of times like artists kind of get right, they like make something cool and they don't necessarily get the renown that they deserve in these card games because they are such a central part to the card game themselves and what they mean to everybody. You know, like the most identifiable part of these cards is like when you see the art, like you identify a lot of them, like you see certain art and it's like, oh, I know that card.
Like when
as soon as you see the
strike
art
comes down, you know, like that shade of the sky, like you know what that art is. Like that's a super
It's when you see like pack openings, you like peek the edge sometimes. You're like, oh, I know that card. Like you know exactly what a card is by seeing a partial art. So super cool. Yeah. I would say, Dane, I would agree. I actually had to look him up because I was like, I'm pretty sure Alexander Malkov did some stuff that I would want. He's the artist for Kano. So he did Kano and Lessons in Lava.
Oh, did he do the new wizard card that's like the ice lady with the fire coming in above her hand?
I don't even know because I
did wizard stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I always look them up on one of the cool things about FabDB that I think is again, it's like a thing that's kind of a trickle down effect, right? Like James White and LSS prioritize artists and making them a part of the community and a part of the game and doing things. So as a result, you see that kind of trickle down effect where like FabDB, if you go to a card, you can actually click on the artist name and you can get a gallery of the artwork by them in the game, which is just a cool feature that they've added to that website. Very, very cool.
So that's something I'll definitely pay attention to, and I would recommend everybody pay attention to bring your favorite stuff. And Federico, it pronounces.
Oh, he did Bravo,
Musetti.
dude. He did
Malkov.
Yeah, you got to get Bravo.
Yeah, Malkov. Yeah.
When is he going to be somewhere?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Whenever he is.
When he
was coming somewhere.
I'm sending cards.
So Federico Musetti, because I forget who got it. Probably, I think Chris Dietz got this one. He had a pulverized playmat that he had made. They sold out. There's 300 of them. I didn't see him. Actually, I probably did see him, but I just didn't think anything of it because I'm like, I'll just look at that later. I was too busy talking to people, and those all sold out.
Yeah,
and they give the rights, which I think is really cool for LSS to do. They give the rights to these artists they allow them to print with their full permission. They get the full files to print those playmats and do whatever they want when they did the art for them. So that's cool. So hopefully he prints more of them because the mat was amazing. Absolutely amazing looking. He had a bunch of Islander mats there. So very, very cool stuff for artists. The artists were constantly busy. As soon as they would open up and sign for however many hours straight, and there would be a line that whole time. They'd shut it down, take a break, they'd come back, and that line was there. They never stopped. Same with James White. There was always lines. So I got lucky. I snuck into and got to see James White without the line, got my artist stuff signed without the line. Not a line guy. I avoided all the lines. Very happy.
Yeah.
I avoided lines.
It's super cool. Like one of the things that was really cool from the outside was watching how many people got pictures taken with artists and things signed by artists and pictures with James and things signed by James. And the fact that they didn't just make like James White accessible for certain moments and then kind of keep him, so often with any sort of big gathering where there's somebody that's like the real person of note, that person isn't necessarily accessible to the public for long hours nonstop day after day. And it just seemed like he took pictures with every single person that was interested. He stopped and took pictures everywhere. There were candid photos of him. There were pictures where people were, having somebody else take the picture. There were pictures where it was a selfie. And you just realize, like, to your point, Jason, like Rudy pointing into the lobby saying, like, you did that. how cool the Pro Tour had to be for them, because like as a game, this is years in the making, but they did this, they survived through COVID and, lockdowns, and the game getting off the ground at probably the least ideal time to start an in-person card game in the history of the world. And they managed to work their way through that. And now they've created something that is really, really special. And just seeing how grateful people are and how excited they are about it is such a cool thing. Like we will gripe sometimes about, Facebook and Discords and social media just being people this and people that, saying stuff, complain and whatever. But seeing that, everything has been such a positive thing. Everything has been such in upbeat, like the community is amazing, the game is amazing, the Pro Tour was incredible. Like you're just grateful for what they've created. I'm so excited and so grateful to be a part of it. It's such a cool thing to be a part of.
It definitely pulled everything together. Everything came together. I know there was anybody that complained about stuff. You're an idiot. Sorry, I'm going Jason on it. You're just a dumbass idiot. If you're bitching, yeah, the timers were there. Everything was within line. I mean, I'm not a big Channel Fireball fan, but the event was run fine. I still got pissed off at one judge at the end, and rage left. Well, I'm going to tell that story. Actually, that's my only gripe.
Yeah, let's do it.
The last day. It is Sunday, and we are sharing some Sour Patch Kids amongst us Minnesota people. So we're eating and actively drinking. I just stopped chewing one, and a judge comes over, put your mask on. I'm like, I'm eating. You are not eating right now, are you? Not currently at this moment, you fucking idiot. I am not. And I said that. I said, that's fucking ridiculous. Then he says it to Bates, who literally just put his water down. And Bates is the best masker I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like the man will, whether it's required or not, he wears it. He's very particular, always has it. And he says something to him, and then I lost my shit. I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. So I tear off my mask and I walked out just to be dramatic. Funny.
God.
So you mentioned Sour Patch Kids, which Sour Patch Kids, by the way, references something kind of the Pro Tour where Paul actually posted that his girls asked him to get them American candy, and we found out on there that Tarek believes that Sour Patch Kids are the most superior of all candies. He commented.
I mean, I'll put it probably top 5, but Reese's peanut butter cups. That's what I mentioned. Reese's peanut butter cups.
Okay.
And I commented too. I was like, I'll be honest. Like, I really thought Wiley Wallaby, like licorice, was Australian. I thought that was like, I know, right? I said that he had it posted with like all his American candy he was bringing home, and I'm like, that's there already, isn't it? Like, what? Why are you bringing that?
I don't know. I'm with
Kit Kats.
I'm with Tarek. I'm a big fan of the sour gummy candies. Those are my jam.
Well, I love Sour Patch Kids. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, big fan.
Yeah.
But Reese's peanut butter cups will always be my number one.
I will say I do love a good frozen Snickers. I'm pretty sold on that being one of the top 5 candies of all time for sure.
I always pretend that they're quasi nutritious. Like the commercials tell me when I'm hungry, this is what I should eat right now, real quick, and I'll just pretend that this isn't horrible for me.
It's like a power bar. A Snickers is it's basically a power bar.
Yeah. It can't be that bad.
For a long time, right? Like that was kind of Snickers thing. Was they kind of they seemed like they tried to mirror themselves alongside Gatorade. Like Gatorade is what you drink when you're working out because it replenishes electrolytes, and you eat a Snickers.
Then you have a Snickers when you're done with the workout.
Because you're not
you got
when you're hungry. Yeah.
You're not you when you're hungry.
You're Betty White.
Yeah.
You're Betty White getting tackled.
Oh, classic. So overall, it was a absolutely amazing event. There's probably hundreds of little things that happen and fun things and going out with friends and just small interactions and funny shit that happened all throughout the weekend. But I mean, like you said with James, I saw him when I met with Toby. He had walked in right before Toby walked in. I was just sitting in the corner. He was with guys, but I'm like, hello, James. I just gonna say. He's like, hi, Jason. I'm like, still remembers my name 2 days in a row.
I just came up to you. I just wanted to hear you say my name again. That's really all I wanted to hear.
That sounds a little creepy saying it like that, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Say my name.
I mean, I think as long as you don't like walk up to you like, James, could you record my voicemail for my phone? Like that's when you start to there's like a line, you gotta
like I get that if you were like a voice actor, like if you're fucking Save it. Like, yeah, we have
Christopher Sabat.
I don't know. I never knew how to pronounce it, actually. I'm glad that you finally clarified that.
Christopher Sabat,
Sabat, save it, or whatever. But, yeah, like, have Vegeta be your voicemail for sure. But,
If I was going to have anybody record my voicemail, it would have been either Harry, the tallest of the Timmies, or Nick Butcher, because I like their voices. So it would have been one of those three, and maybe a combo platter. That's who would be my voicemail.
See.
Who would you have had
I don't
voicemail?
What's that?
At the Pro Tour. If someone had to record your voicemail
at the Pro Tour.
Who would it have been, Blake?
Ooh, at the Pro Tour. That's interesting. I mean, I feel like you'd get the most energy would definitely be Paul, right? Like the tall Timmy recording your voicemail.
Or Rudy, you'd get a lot of energy.
Yeah. Although, did you see his video with Rudy, where he's like, "Hey, team," and Rudy's in the background like,
"Oh shit,"
and he says something at the end, like Paul's like, he's like, "Make sure you follow," and Rudy's like, "Do you have anything, Rudy?" He's like, "Thanks for," and Rudy's like, "Get out while you still can." Like that's how he ended. You have to go look at it. It's a short on his his channel. It's good. It's really funny. He did a good job. So
it was high quality. He was, and Rudy was, for everybody, like, why is he going there? So another reason why he left Facebook, but like, why is he going there? Whatever. He was everywhere with people. People were following Rudy everywhere. He was also super accessible. Talking to people, taking pictures with people. Once again, I'm not big taking pictures with people. Like I did shorts. We did the tall Timmy short, and then we both went on each other's channel just because that was fun. But it was cool that they were there. A lot of people love that interaction with him. So he was available, and everybody was available. It was great. It was. Yeah, I don't know what to say besides it was great. It was everybody was it was very well done.
Yeah, I think people get too worried about it, right? Like people have their opinions or perceptions about people. Anybody who's watched this channel knows, like, I couldn't care less personally about Rudy. Like, I'm completely indifferent on him. People like him, cool, that's fine. He's not my cup of tea. I don't really care to listen to him. But it's smart on both of their part, right? Like if he gets involved with this card game, and it's entirely possible that he got involved as a financial decision. He was just trying to get in. But then you like listening to like, Jason's story where he's talking to James about like, you did this, and those kind of stories like that prove that maybe he's found a thing that he goes, I love this. This is incredible. And it's hard not.
Money.
It's hard not. Yeah. I mean, but even beyond that, right? Like you see, like he doesn't have to make himself accessible at these events to make money, because it doesn't make him money to be around. Like he makes money buying and selling the products. He clearly has access to the products, clearly has access to the game. But I think it's hard not to look at that and think to some degree he sees the same thing that a lot of us do, which is all of us clearly love card games. It's something that's been a part of a lot of people's lives that play Flesh and Blood for most of their lives or for a long time. But I think everybody has kind of universally narrowed it down back to, and it's all been distilled down to this realization that Fab captures the thing that is most special to us about card games, which is they do such a good job of creating this community. Like it feels like Fab is special. Whereas other card games, you don't feel that connection with. You feel it sometimes with your friends, but not necessarily the community at large, and definitely not with companies. You never feel a connection in a lot of these games with companies. But James has found a way to create a company that feels personal in spite of the game continuing to grow to a point where every time they host the next big event, it's the biggest event in Fab history. it's hard. At some point, you're like, I mean, they have to stop being so accessible, right? But then you talk to stores and it's like, yeah, when we email them, they email us back like as soon as they are available. Sometimes at times where we go, what time of day is it in New Zealand? Because they shouldn't be answering us, right? But they're so accessible and they work so hard to create that, personal nature.
3:20 p.m. in Auckland right now.
It's 3:20 p.m.
Yeah, I added the world clock so I can know what time it is.
Somebody, it's funny. Somebody posted that today. I think they said
I did it.
Yeah, they posted the things.
Or
day trader, day trader, or need to know when I can play card games with my friends.
So here's another interesting thing that I thought was funny. So this came up by multiple times. Was the amazement of the me and Blake just battle royale we had. Don't even remember what it was about, but our battle royale came up multiple times of how do you guys how. So I believe the one gentleman that brought up it was the funniest one was from Denmark, and he's like, if I had a battle, and if I'm remembering the country wrong, just leave a comment in there because I appreciate the story and talking to you. Was we had never talked to each other again ever. So it'd be over. So it'd just be done. It'd be done.
It's
out of here.
It's burnt into my brain. It was talking about Guardian, and Jason was talking about what the list was, and it was just
I couldn't even tell you what my stance was on it. I like
you were basically telling Blake what his deck did, like what his deck was. And Blake's like, I built the deck. It's not that. And it was great.
So anyway, and then also I learned like New Zealand and Australia, the what we do in our blunt and blatant way we say things is the way that's the way they like it over there. They like it blunt, and they like it to the point. That was another fun fact that I learned. Like America's kind of pussies in a way. You know what I mean? We've really
sometimes people get a little soft
in a decent way for sure.
And the down under, they're not like that. They love that kind of shit. They can call each other cunts and be okay with it. So which is a word we really need. I just need everybody just slowly start working that in American vocabulary. Let's bring cunt to America. That would be my slogan. If I was running for president, let's bring cunt to America.
Not like an illegal way or like a sketchy way.
But like, I think you need to you probably need to workshop. Yeah, you need to workshop the phrasing of that. But I think in general, you're correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Pink flag. No.
I think you probably sit down and workshop that with people and you'll be fine. But,
workshop that. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's just that's the rough outline that I'm going.
Okay.
With
yeah. I gotcha.
Should we name the episode "Bring Cunt to America"? Just kidding.
I mean, we have the power. We have the capability. We can do that.
I'm not sure that's going to get us the Google views that we're necessarily looking for.
Gonna miss out on the algorithm there.
I'll be honest. I feel like from the beginning we've sort of said fuck the algorithm. Like we every once in a while we're like, should we change up the way we title? Sure, but like, what the fuck does it get us? Nothing. Doesn't matter. Cool. Bring cunt to America. Let's do it. Do it.
And then funny, I think was it on yours, Dane? I was on one of our posts. I think it was on Dane's about coming to Twitter and like, God, finally you guys can stop complaining about Facebook.
Oh yeah. Evan commented and he's like, I think the Twitter sphere is much better than Facebook. And I quoted him and I was like, yeah, I realized that about 4 seconds after making my account. So
I mean, I'm blaming not being on Twitter more on you, Dane. This is my age limit. Like, Which I guess I should.
I really,
Cody.
I'll be totally
Cody's
honest.
the one that suggested it.
I'll be totally honest. I wrote off Twitter. Like we made like the account and we did a couple things on it, and I was just like, that seems like so much extra effort and like another
3 posts 2 years ago.
Another like place that we got to remember to post shit. And like, it's so much better than Facebook. Like it just like the because you can just tailor your own feed. Like it's so much. Like, oh, I don't want to see any of your shit anymore. It's like, cool.
Block it. It's done.
Done.
No, I do enjoy it. I enjoy.
Yeah.
It's just so much better. You can comment whatever you want. You can't get banned by moderators for being an asshole. Not that I would ever be an asshole, but let's say that happens at some point in time on Twitter.
It just sometimes happens.
As long as I don't run for president and under a slogan of make America great again, I should be fine of not getting banned from Twitter and make people storm the Capitol. As long as I don't do that, I'll be good.
Yeah. I mean, Elon controls Twitter now, right? Or we're getting close to that. So like, it could be the Wild West before we know it.
Sued right now by the shareholders.
I mean, if you're not,
who knows?
If you're not getting sued, you're not rich and famous. Like that's the world.
I agree with that.
Right? Yeah. That's why I want to be rich or famous, but not both.
That's
why we do this.
I haven't been.
That's the reason.
Famous. That's really.
That's why.
That's really the reason behind it.
Yep. That's why we do this for free, because we can be famous, but we'll never get rich, which means people will just leave us alone.
Funny, because when that question was always asked when I was younger, would you rather be rich and famous? It was 100% always rich. Who the fuck cares about being famous? Give me the money.
But then you get famous because you're rich.
Neither. So
yeah,
that's
so it worked out.
The choice didn't matter. Yeah, it worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, next time I get to hear the stories from, because I know there's a lot of people gonna go to Vegas. I mean,
I hope so. I hope people aren't burnt out on like big trips because of, the Pro Tour. So come to Vegas, because we're taking Blitz way too seriously.
Oh,
we're fucking ready.
Yeah.
Like we're
Cody and I have already been conniving, just so everyone's aware, about a Minnesota house. Like we need to find wherever they do Worlds, but like just Minnesota. So we know it's not going to be serious enough. It just needs to be like the Minnesota house. We need to just bring the whole crew.
So we're not getting like the Dragon Shield house. We're not getting like that. We need to find like the people that made this shitty like Dragon Ball Super sleeves, and like we'll get like that house.
Yeah.
We'll be like the like Ultra Pro.
Yep.
Whatever.
We're gonna get an Ultra Pro house. So it's gonna be kind of like it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be rough, not necessarily in the best part of town. A little run down.
We called your sleeves shitty, but sponsor us and get us a house because we're keeping it real.
Yeah, like if you give me a house 100%, I probably still won't use the sleeves.
I will
but
not
I mean, like
if you sponsor us, we won't.
I'll wear a t-shirt. I'll wear a t-shirt if you want. I'll put a t-shirt on. I don't care.
As we're getting close to finishing up this episode.
Yeah, we're fucking done whenever.
We're spiraling, yeah.
It's spiraling, which is fine. That's what we do. Spiraling is part of the gig. Mm-hmm. Are we going to talk about giveaways for our kits at all?
Honestly, there's really no rush on that. So
yeah, that's coming.
We can do a separate video for that.
We'll do a separate video for that. Yeah. That and probably put out something announced next week with our podcast next week. But yeah, we've got our kit right now. The big giveaway that you guys need to act on, if you're still listening, thank you, is the Fabled package, which we put out a video yesterday. So be sure to watch that video. Check out our Twitters. Plot twist, just fucking follow us on Twitter because we've got those now. And make sure you comment, follow. What's up?
I will be So here's why I don't post on the Facebook page. Because half the time it turns into a cesspool, right?
Yeah.
And then you can't. And then like if you retaliate, if you just start to have a good, strong argument, which we are known for, like either the comments get locked or you're gonna get something bad's gonna happen. I will be posting on Twitter a lot more. I'll be posting pictures of decks, things. I will start being very active on there just because it's so easy and I own it. And you know what I mean? You have that ownership of your Twitter feed. And if somebody wants to be an ass, I mean, I just call in the troops and we just gang up on you. So just
it's gonna be way more fun to do that on Twitter too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I plan on not posting much like Jason and Blake. I already saw you guys commenting like, oh, like what are your guys' thoughts or whatever the fuck it was, and I'm like, Twitter's definitely gonna be like my meme central. Like,
I've got it all. I'm all about the memes. I already made I set the precedence that my Twitter will be about humor and memeing, but I will post decks and stuff too. I just definitely need it. Yeah, I'm just gonna do everything. So
it's kind of like a new relationship with whatever your new relationship is with. You just kind of feel it out for a little bit. You just see how far you can get, reach around, go under the shirt, see what happens. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Jason
might change.
Likes reach rounds in his new relationships.
I might get slapped in the face. Might
slap and pickle.
I don't know.
Like a little slap and pickle.
We'll see what happens. Just So I'm excited for a little tweeting.
Little tweeter.
Some pound signs and some tweeting.
I'm glad Cody said something, I'll be honest, because I really did just fucking write off Twitter so hard when we first made our social media stuff. I was like, yeah, fuck this whole platform. I have zero interest in this.
And I mean, I think the issue is we're just inherently we do this for fun. It's like we tried it first. We're like, oh, we'll share stuff on our Facebook and then we can share the Facebook post to try to get more people. And then it just became one of those things where it's like, I don't know. This is too much work. I just don't.
Fucking work. I don't.
It's so much work.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Because only people that are following you're gonna. You know what I mean? It's like you're not.
Yeah. Then it's like I had a light bulb moment where I was like, oh, dude, I love Barstool Sports and I follow some of them. Like fucking PFT dude gets my goat so much. I don't know if you guys follow PFT commenter. He does. He hosts the Pardon My Take. It's their co-host.
Oh, okay.
It's fucking fucking awesome. I love Barstool. But anyways,
yeah. So we'll be like I said, not like some weeks I might do it every day. Some it might be, but I'm gonna make a goal of doing it once or twice a week. Throwing a little tweet out there. See what happens. But yeah, overall, what a great event. I mean, we're coming up on 2 years in July, or are we over 2 years?
And it's ended, I think, sometime in July. End of July or beginning of August, I think is when
it was definitely July when we.
Yeah.
Well, now
we met up
when we did our first.
There was 4 of us. Then one decided to have a kid, and so we wrote him off. And
shit just went downhill for him ever since. No, I'm just kidding. He's been doing great.
Mark's still doing great. He just does a lot more hunting and fishing and raising a child, which. That's overrated.
Yeah. Jason and I have hit the point in our lives where our children basically raise themselves. So
yeah. I don't see mine much anymore. I saw him at spaghetti dinner for lacrosse tonight because it was parent served spaghetti dinner, and then he went and worked out and just got home a little bit ago. Now he's a gym rat. That happens.
How many videos do we have? Jesus.
All right,
we do have a lot of videos.
All right,
you want to bring us home?
Hold on. Ready?
Yep.
Our first gameplay, which is Jason and his wife, was Dorinthia versus Reinar.
Bro, no, that was Mark and my wife.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So this was August 3rd.
That was our first video.
And Chris Shorter says, good seeing some gameplay online. It's a great way to see some of the other classes in action. I'll have to give Reinar a try. Only comment.
Back when there was 8 classes. Just 8 then. We didn't have a Crucible War back then.
Yeah.
Simple mechanics that we constantly fucked up. God Could you imagine if we started
There's
now with all the
nothing to go
mechanics?
off of. There's nothing to go off. It was literally like us and what else
Yeah.
existed back then.
Session blood.
Session blood.
Slash and blood.
I remember when we were like counting
And all the comments were New Zealanders.
We were
Yeah.
we were like counting our subscribers comparing to Session Blood, and they fucking blew us out. But like we were keeping pace up to like 450, 500, and then they just like, kept shooting up to like 1,000, and it took us like 6 months to get there.
Wow, you had you had like Carol and Mr. Classic over there. You know, the Brute King and Mr. Classic were busy winning events, and we were like, I wish we could go play somewhere in an armory even.
Yeah, the good old days. All right, well, everybody, thanks for hanging in there with us. Hope you enjoyed the recap of Jason's experiences at the Pro Tour. It was a fucking blast, it sounds like, and I'm really bummed that I didn't go there, but am really excited to make up for that in Vegas with Blake and Robert and some of the other guys that we're going with. So be sure to hit us up on Twitter in order to get yourself in the running for that Fabled package. It's $150 value, pretty dope. I'll just give you a quick recap of it. If you go onto our Twitters and follow us, and then comment on the post regarding this giveaway on our Twitters, on our tweets, comment on the tweet. That's the word. We're all new to this shit, so bear with us as we figure it out. Comment that you followed us on the tweet of us announcing this giveaway on our Twitters, and we will put you in the running. So if you follow all three of us and comment followed on that tweet, you get 3 basically tickets into the drawing for that. So be sure to do that. That was a fucking struggle. Thanks for bearing with me, and we will talk to y'all next week. Peace.
See ya.